and this tutorial will be about bouncing ball. So we're going to be doing a bouncing ball tutorial. Okay. All right. If you just open Blender, we have our cube, our default settings here. So we just want to delete our cube, then that cube because we want a ball. So delete that. And I need to go to Shift A and create a UV sphere. And then we need to go to Object, go to Shade Smooth to make it smooth. Okay. Now we need to put our sphere, remember, one level up. Remember, that's in our object properties. When we have a sphere, okay, let's rename it. Let's rename our sphere. It's always good to name our objects or items with ball. Okay. Now, in our object properties, we want to put it to 1 meter up, 1 meter up, and we need to press Control A to all transforms, deltas, that zeros everything out. Next, we want to create a controller. I go to Shift A, I go to Empty, the cube, but as the same as the sphere, we need to put it 1 meter up. I want to go to Control A, try all transforms and deltas. Now that it's done, we want to rename my empty ball. Control, blah. Okay, so that's done. And now we want to parent this ball controller to the ball. But remember, in Blender, you have to select the parent last. So as we want the ball controller to be the parent, we select the ball first, hold Shift and press ball controller. You see how they're different colors? This more orange color is the parent color, and the light orange color is the child color. Okay. Now we want to select the ball controller, go to Control E, set parent to object. Okay. Now that's done. Now the ball controller is the parent of the ball. Okay. Now we want to add a floor. So to do that, we need to go to Shift A, go to Mesh, Plane. Okay. Now we want to press N on our keyboard, N for November, to pull this extra transform tab out. We want the X to be a 10, and we want the Y to be 25. Okay. Oh, sorry, 100. We want the Y to be 100. Now we want to rename the plane floor. So let's rename that. Double-clicking on, remember, double-clicking on the item will make it, you can rename it like that. So rename it to floor, go to our modifiers tab, add a modifier, and go to solidify. In the solidify tab, in the thickness, put 1 meters. So now that's 1 meters extruded. Okay. Now we want to add some materials to our objects. So on the ball controller, let's go to ball, go to our circular icon here, press add to add material. I'm going to call this ball material. Ball material 1. Okay. Then when I add a new slot, when I add a new slot, I want to add new, I want to call this ball material 2. So I'm going to name that ball 2. Okay. My first one, we want it to be a color. I like to pick blue, so we pick a nice blue here. And the second color, we can leave it white. All right. Okay. Now let's go to our side view. Let's go a bit closer. Now, our ball is in object mode. We want to put it to edit mode. Okay. And we want to deselect these selections here. And we want to go to select. Go to select loops. Let's go to edge selection, and holding down Alt, we select, but we have to be on our faces, which is this one, faces selection. Let's go back to import mode. What we do, we want to select these objects, so we go to select edge loops, select, hold down Alt, then Shift to select these areas. So we want to go from the center. So hold down Alt, hold down Shift, select that, and select these two bottoms here. So hold down Shift and Alt at the same time. And then again, I want to assign this selection to the second material we've made. So we assign it. So now we've made our ball material. Okay. So now our ball material has stripes in it, so we can see that how it rotates and how it moves better. Okay. So now we need to come back to object mode, go to our floor, go to our material, add a new material, name this floor material. Go to 1. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to a surface area, surface, and go to base color. I'm going to give it a red color. Okay. When you want to change materials, make sure you come back into object mode, or if you're in edit mode, it will stay in the previous selection or item that you had. Okay, so make sure you press object mode to come back and change color to different items in your scene collection. Okay, now we've done that. Now we have all the textures prepared for our scene. We want to start with our animation. We want to now go to 0 at the start of animation and go to 210 to the end. Okay, now we have that. Okay. Now in our ball controller, we want to go to Object and go to the transform properties. Remember, we want to press Auto Keyframe to make our keyframes automatically keyframe itself when we change any value in its transform parameters. So it's now stage our scene a bit better. Let's just zoom out a bit. So zoom, and then just move the pan around this icon here. So now, on the first one, we want it to be, so to activate the auto key, we have to select a keyframe. So our first one, we want it to be 10 up. So yes, let's drag it down to see it a bit more clearly. The next one, we want it to be 0. Then on 20, we want it to be 7.5. Then on 30, want it to be 0. 40, 5. And on 50, 0. 60, 2.5. On 70, want it to be 0. And then 80, we want it to be 1.25 to be 0. Then on 100, want it to be 0.75. Then on 110, want it to be 0. And then on 120, we want it to be 0.35. And on 130, we want it to be 0. So that's our motion we have here. We look at it. Yeah. Seems like it's good motion. Everything's correct there. Now we want to go to our this area of this kind of timeline or this clock kind of icon. We want to go to graph editor. As you can see in a graph editor, we have these shapes that are looking like balls bouncing. So this is the graphic curve editor, so we can actually see what is going on with our Z channel. And this is the visual representation of what is going on in here in the viewport. As you can see, the point of 10 is here, the point of 5 is here, the point of 2.5 is here, the point of 10 is at the beginning, and the point here is 7.5, then 5, then 2.5, then 1.5, and so on. So this shows us this kind of movement that's happening. We want to correct this movement, make this movement more realistic. The ball's not bouncing very well. It's got too much easing in and easing out. So we want to actually take that out. So deselect everything, then we'll select, we want to go closer. Remember to move or navigate around this area is the mouse, the middle mouse button, that rolling button to zoom in and out. Hold that rolling button in to move left and right, up and down. Okay. So now we want to select these bottom keys. Yeah. Select them. Let's go a bit closer. Let's hold down Shift. Let's select these keys. Okay. So that one. So where it drops. Here, here. Now we want to go to right click. Handle type, we want to go to vector, so click on vector. So this will now sharpen our animation up here. And that's basically it, what we need. To go further, we can manipulate them further, but I think that this is a good place to be, good look to it. So now, let's go back to our view. Let's go back to, click on view, go back to toggle to dope sheet. I think that when it's moving, it's good. But then around 70 frames, I think nearly half of this sequence, we need it to slow down. We need to pace up, actually. So we're going to select all these from 80, you want to select all these keyframes. And we want to press S to scale, and we just want to move it back a bit. We want to move it to 110. Okay, and then click. Then a quicker transition to start to slow down. Okay, so now we've done that. Let's go look back into our graph editor. As you can see, it's tightened up. Shape. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our dope sheet. Now we can see that's done. Now we want to move the ball forward. So let's drag this summary out. So you just click and drag. You can see this little arrow. Hold down your left button, click and drag, and open summary. So you can see the actual channel. So now we want to we're on 0. We want to activate our auto keyframe by pressing keyframe on the circle, the Y. And then we want it to be, I'm going to move it about maybe 40 meters across. So let's try that, 40. So it's around about that. See how that looks. So now we have to go back to the graph editor just to see how we can make that a bit better. So let's go to this little keyframe here, or this timeline, or this clock face here icon, and click onto graph editor. Yes, 0 out the Z and lock it as well. So we can just see the Y. And then we want to go to view, and we want to go to frame mode to see it in a bigger perspective. So on our first keyframe, I think that we don't want it to ease in. Yeah, we want it to be quite linear. We want it to jump back into its position, or jump into a position which is more realistic. So yes, all this area here, this icon to drag our stage, our animation to see what's happening. I think that's a good place. Okay. That's really good. Place bounce, 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 bounce. Okay. So now, yes, let's make it even more straight. So that's curve, and let's just pull down the curve a bit. Yeah, see. So it's up to you to play around just to see how you think it looks. But this feels good to me. It feels like it's working in a coherent, realistic way. Okay, and now that's done. We want to go back to our timeline. We need to go view, toggle to dope sheet. So we've done that now. Now we need to do the squash and stretch. So we're going to have to do the action of the ball instead of the actual ball controller. So we're going to do that in the ball. Okay. So now, as you can see, where it drops down, it seems to drop down to 10. And we want to do our keyframes on Z. So start from 0. We want to do our keyframes on the scale on Z and Y. Okay. So when it gets to 10, we want it to now squash. So squash on the Y. So we can just put it down a bit. Just do 1.120. Okay, that seems really good. But remember, it's going to be doing that from the beginning. So, but let's say 2 frames in. You want to put it back to 1 and 1. So we want it to its original neutral size. So when it stretches, bang, bang, and then it now squashes. Let's go 3 frames up, and let's put it on the 1.2. Just copy that value by Control copy, put it onto Z, Control V, and let's have a look. So now you can see the squash and stretch. If we go to a ball controller, go to this 3 pointed icon, select on that, and go to the cube and just put 0 so we can hide our cube. So we can see our cube a bit better. I mean, our ball a bit better. Go back to ball. So let's see how that looks. So it's not like that much exaggerated, but you can see it squashing. So let's add a bit more. Let's go to object properties. Probably add a bit more squash here. Yeah. So it's okay. And on the Y axis, you want to add more squash on the Y axis. So we squash a bit more. So maybe 1.4. Let's put that. And so you can see that boom. We can put a bit on the Y and the Z, just give it a bit more bounce. So now as we have that happen, we want to now copy these frames onto each and every bounce. So it bounces on frame 30, we go hold down Shift and D, move across to the bouncing keyframe. So that's on the second keyframe. Press click, and let's go again. Where does it bounce? On 50, hold down Shift and D, move across. Now we have it with the right keyframe, click, left click to apply it, and then go again. 70, go to Shift D, move across, click to apply, left click to apply. And again, where does it bounce? It's going to bounce on 83, Shift D, get to that second keyframe, click, right, left click and apply. Carry on again to where it bounces. So it bounces, seems to bounce on 7, Shift D, again, add it, left click, it goes to bounce again, 108, Shift D, put it to 108, and then that seems to be enough. Bounce, 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 bounce. But as the ball seems to get a bit more user speed, we have to kind of reduce the squash. So let's just reduce the squash a bit. So this is a bit of your creativity involved. So here's too much. It's not got that much energy. Gravity's not pushing it down that much. you know, it's reached that the tension, the surface tension is a lot less. So, yeah, it's not doing that anymore. Okay, let's not do that. Bring it down. So, in fact, over here, where it comes down, practically no, it's none at all. No switch, so we can put down to 1. So put back onto 1 again, the end point. Yeah. So let's see right here. I'm going to go back to 1. And on the Y, when we go to ball controller, on the Y axis, let's lock the Z. It should be to 210. And we have to move these keyframes to 210 because we want it to roll a bit. Yeah. And then, so we want to increase it to about 47, I think would be good. 47. So when it bounces now, above, and it's going to roll. Maybe even 47 might be too much. I'd put 45. I'm gonna take a look. Yeah, that looks good. So now we need a rotation on this ball. Okay, to make a ball rotate, we need to go to our X rotation. So make a keyframe on the X rotation and go to 10 and press minus 180. Okay, then go to it bounces again on 30. We're going to go to delete that B, go to minus on your keyboard. That's minus next to the 0 on your keyboard, next to 0, number 0. There's like a minus, press minus and put 180. The reason why we use minus because it is on minus, so minus on itself plus itself, if that makes sense. Because if you actually put a plus, it will actually deduct it. Okay, so 30 to the next one is on 50. We have to go to minus 180. Okay, so when we look at it, get a bounce. Yeah, so we have that. So on 70, minus 180. Okay, and when there's a bounce again, it seems to bounce 183. Minus 80 again. But when it's a bounce again on 97, go to minus 180. And then bounce again at 111. That's what we put there. So, okay, so bounce 180. Minus 180 there. So let's take a look at that. Bounce, 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 bounce. Now we need it to rotate to 210. So I think you have to add a bit more. Maybe 360 more. So it rolls 360, yes. Go to 210, go to minus, maybe put 540. Try 540. 540. 7. that looks really good, but the ending is a bit of a slide. So we need to go to our graphics editor. Remember clicking this icon here, go to graphics editor, and at the bottom, we need to pull this keyframe up to straighten it out so it moves faster. Still a bit of sliding, so let's just take that up a bit. Let's try again, straighten it out. Looks better. Okay. Faster. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, so now I'm thinking that the ball shape is a bit, it seems to be a bit not round when it's dropping, and it still seems to have this type of rugby ball shape. We've got to fix that. So by the time let's go back to this area here, this button, set graph, overlapping lines, let's go to there and go back. Let's deselect anything in there, in this area by clicking in the clear space in the graph editor. Go back to our timeline. Okay. And on our ball, we need to go to our scale Y and Z, find out where C is on 0, and this needs to be on 0. Oh, it's on our Y. So let's put that back to 1 to give it that shape. So, and that seems too big for me. So I'm going to bring that down, bring it down a bit, go back to 1, and extends itself, bring it down, down. So it's shape. So let's see. Yep. Bounce, 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 bounce. So let's try again. And here, it bounces. Maybe even happens a bit quicker. Select these and let's push it back a bit. 1 second frame back. This is let's give it. So that's how we do a bouncing ball tutorial. I hope this helps. See you in the next one.